YouTube's not even live yet. Let's do that. Give me one sec, guys. We walk across the building, but start the Instagram. Okay. I think we have at least Instagram and YouTube today.
Yeah?
Yep, we're going. All right.
We live?
We're live somewhere.
Sorry, everybody. We're having technical difficulties.
Computers are being computers and deciding to change from last week.
We had to sacrifice Facebook, so we're here on Instagram and YouTube.
Yep.
So if any of your friends are on Facebook, please let them know to come over to one of the other platforms. This is the 034 Motorsport live chat. As always, we're here on Mondays to discuss all things 034, to answer any of your hot burning questions about 034 Motorsport products, services, and anything else you'd like to know. We take an OBS approach to responding, so if we hurt anyone's feelings, we're sorry. That's not our intention. We just wanted to talk about what's really going on, what's real. And my name is Javad, and this is Nate.
Pardon me, I'm still trying to get Facebook working. So.
Yeah, sorry, we're doing
a little sidetracked.
Feel free to put your questions into the browser that's actually working right now that you can view, which would be on Instagram or YouTube.
Yep.
And we will work on getting through all the questions and set a goal of answering all the questions this week, which means we're gonna have to be quick on rushing through some of these with real short answers. But I was looking at the leftover questions from last week, and it was a lot. I feel bad that we're not getting to them all. I don't know. I still don't know if
we're going to try.
But we try, but you guys ask a lot of questions, so.
Which we like. Keep them coming, but we'll get through them.
Oh, we got woofed. All right. Woof. We're off to a good start. All right. Installed 980cc injectors for 8S this weekend. I cleaned out quite a bit of dust where the old injectors sit in the engine. Should this be of concern going forward? My O-rings are sealed properly. Yeah, no concern.
No, that's above the O-ring seal. I'm assuming you're talking about the little pocket the injector goes down into, and above that you're going to get dirt, debris, dust.
That's going to happen. I mean, in general, you want to keep your engine compartment clean if you can.
Yeah.
But
I would get in there with cleaning like a cleaning solvent and blow them out before injector swapping anything, because you don't know what dirt and rocks and debris can sit on top of the injector seal there.
But all you're concerned about is the O-ring sealing area and inside. But like Nate said, do your best to clean it out. If you can blow it out with some compressed air. Generally, you want to keep water away from those type of areas because it can screw up your wiring and connectors and things like that. My S5 B8 supercharger cores are leaking. Do you guys know if there are upgraded versions out there? I have heard of upgraded versions, but
there's a couple of OEM variants and a couple of different OEM suppliers. There's one's got an extra row in it, I believe. I'm trying to remember. There's 11 row and a 10 row. And it's kind of...
Is that actually better, though?
It's a roll that, I don't know if anybody's got any back-to-back.
It's a superseding part number.
But from what I've seen, it's kind of a roll of the dice to what you actually get that comes in the box. I think it was even it seems like you order the same part number, and some vendors you get one.
Yeah, I mean, as far as performance goes, there's no major upgrades. So you just want to get something that's good quality, that's going to last and not leak. I know FCP had some cores that were OEM for a while for really cheap, like $120 each or something.
Yeah, the OEM name, and they had it direct from whoever makes it.
Yeah, Bear, I think. Any ideas for stage 3 power numbers on a MK8 GTI? Understood if it can't be said at the moment. There is no stage 3 for MK8 at the moment. TTE or nobody else that I'm aware has released an upgraded turbo. I think it's safe to say for a GTI 500 crank, like a TTE, at least a TTE 450 or a 500 would be on the horizon. But again, there's nothing to be said because nothing's happening, right? Everyone in the industry right now on the tuning side is getting focused on stage 1, stage 2, things like that. So, and then I don't know if you're referring to the Golf R turbo upgrade, but if you put the Golf R turbo on a GTI, which we will be releasing a tuning solution for that, you'll have Golf R numbers.
It's going to be very close. I mean, there's some small differences in cams and in that, so it's not going to be 1-to-1, but it's going to be very close to
peak power
to like the S3 Golf R number.
Very similar. Any update on mobile flashing? Nothing new since last week. I mean, its work is continuing, and it's
Lots of work being done all the time.
Mm-hmm. It's a huge priority for us to get to market. Rest assured. The RS style startup on the B9 S4 is cool, but I think one quick rev followed by 2 or 3 loud cracks would be cooler. Would you ever consider changing the startup?
I want to say it depends on the mode it was shut down at, and the cracks are generally going to be like the overrun crackle is catalyst temperature dependent when that gets enabled.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple of factors in there. I want to say if you warm start or hot start or restart, you might get some of those cracks on the decel because it revs up and then it'll just drop the revs back down just like you kind of blip the gas. But hold start, that's probably not going to happen.
Best A4 B8 upgrades to start with. I would do our sway bars to start with, and we have a really nice tune for the earlier cars. And I don't know, it depends what wheels and tires your car comes with, but if you have smaller wheels, you could do a +1 setup, and then some type of suspension solution. We don't have. What's up with our B8 A4 springs? We haven't released them yet.
Talking to the wrong guy.
We're working on. Yeah.
Yeah, those are not there yet.
Yeah. We are working on a spring solution as well. Hopefully by the summer. So the spring sway bars and then tuning, that would be a great place to start. Transform the car.
I believe I have Facebook up and running for now. It's going to be a little lower quality than normal, but
okay. Nice try.
If it might start impacting our other streams, so we'll see.
If you're on Facebook, we apologize. Technical issues.
Yep.
From technical issues from trying to do the impossible.
And trying to do the exact same thing we did last week.
You are indeed lying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it works just fine.
Can you run a bigger throttle body without meth injection on a B8 3.0 T?
Yeah. Meth injection's got nothing to do with the throttle body side. The throttle body is just going to give you a little higher efficiency and less pressure drop across the the throttle inlet.
We don't require water meth injection for anything, and we actually don't even recommend it.
No. We'll help out with it sometimes if people are running it, but we don't specify it in any of our calibrations. You won't see it on any of our product pages. It's not something we like to rely on.
Do any of your current drivetrain inserts and/or heat exchangers work for the 4MQ7? Patiently waiting for an ECU TCU tune for our family vehicle. Love the current product we have for our SQ5 and S4.
We're trying to get through all these questions, Javad. You don't need to see them.
Jeez. Listen, I'm right there with you. I also own a 4MQ7. Some of our inserts do work. I believe the C7 trans insert, was it? Oh, the B9 trans insert drops in. Did we update the product page?
Should be in the...
Yeah, go to our website and put in your Q7, and anything that's currently deemed compatible will show up. The B9, I believe that's what it was, trans insert does fit. We're currently evaluating some other things as well. We are looking at the heat exchanger. We will have ECU and TCU tuning.
Yes.
And we're even working on a really nice intake solution as well. And I think that's kind of where we'll leave things for that platform. But then once we have the tuning, the various crank pulleys, should work. We'll continue to update and recommend things on our website.
We don't have any inserts listed.
Yeah, this was a while ago.
Yeah, we went through a validation process, and I want to say it was okay.
Yeah, one of our current inserts does drop right in.
We'll get that updated.
In my head, it was a C7.
Your car's on the rack. To be done.
Oh, okay, very cool. You guys should make something for A6 C6. That's pretty old. That's a pretty old platform. I'd say what we have on the site is what you're going to get at this point, unless there's some CREC tune, solution that crosses over. I was thinking of switching to E40 on my single pulley B8.5 S4. I was wondering how much of a difference it was jumping from 91. I'd send logs to make sure the car was healthy for the upgrade.
91 to what?
E40.
Oh, no, it's
substantial.
You're going to get basically as much power as you did going to stage 1 from stock.
Yeah.
It's a substantial amount of power increase.
Anytime you're going from a gas tune to an E-tune, it's going to be a big difference. Huge. So, like Nate said, it'll be as dramatic as it.
Yeah, I mean, particularly 91, because that's obviously the lowest common denominator.
Yes.
An E40 is essentially race fuel level octane. So
Mm-hmm.
on any forced induction motor, it's going to be a substantial difference.
Well, I feel like we're keeping up with questions.
All right.
Best 8Y Audi S3 upgrades. It's kind of going to be the same for every car that we talk about. I definitely recommend doing our upcoming springs and the sway bars, which we already have. That's going to be a really noticeable first modification as far as how the car handles and drives. And then, of course, we have tuning for that. So combine the tuning with the springs and sway bars. Again, our springs are coming. You can put the sway bars with the stock springs. You're going to have a huge improvement. And then I would suggest doing the inserts as well. Just, start with that. And then, you can go from there. You can do, we have wheel options, camber caster solutions, which will further improve the handling and performance and the way the car drives. That'd be a great start. And, our intake. Yeah.
Yep. All kinds of goodies.
Mm-hmm. Looking for recommendations for a stage 2/3 clutch setup for my 2012 VW Golf R. That way I can finally go stage 1, then stage 2 through 034. What are the companies you guys have used and are happy with? I would strongly recommend working with South Bend Clutch. That's the only clutch we offer. For years, we tried to sell and support Spec, and they were terrible. Generally, I would stay away from them. Although, we did sell a lot of their clutches, but the support through them was not good. The support through South Bend has always been phenomenal. We'll send clutches back to them. Say this customer says it's slipping rubber. They'll inspect it, rebuild it, send it back. Won't even charge for it.
Yeah, previously it was it wasn't broken in properly or improper use or improper it was everything under the book.
Other companies are always pointing a finger that it's the user's fault. I think if you can find a good Sachs like Motorsport type upgrade, those are also very high quality. But they're usually pretty light as far as the holding, the performance increase.
Yeah, they're not going to be a full tuner clutch.
I would say go straight to South Bend and don't look back. Very good company. Are you releasing your own brand intercoolers for the B9 platform? That's our plan. We are currently in development of a line of intercoolers for the B9. We'll be releasing something for the MQB Mark 7 as well, and those are coming. Yes. For the time being, we sell and recommend Wagner, and we will continue to recommend Wagner into the future as well. I do believe they make the best intercoolers on the market. We're about to release our Mark 7 MQB intercoolers very soon. So if you're in the market for that, stay tuned. So very high quality tube and fin intercooler. We benchmarked it against everything on the market, and it beats or matches everything out there. Does 034 Motorsport have any plans to upgrade shocks with springs paired for the B9 RS5 suspension system with the DRC system? The stock shocks are leaking or the fluid reservoir is not holding. We are actually looking into doing some coilover options for the B9 chassis. We're kind of early in evaluating that because we are getting more and more requests like this. And I think, there are customers too that like, the height adjustability. And they're going to be a lot more expensive than one of our Dynamic Plus lowering springs, but this is not something we'll have like in the next month or two.
It is a lot of testing and development time into those.
I know the questions are pouring in.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. B9 S5, B9.5 S5 just upgraded intercooler, cold air intake, and transmission mount. She is certified pre-owned with only 8,000 miles, so a tune, while I want it, scares me about avoiding warranty. What upgrades do you recommend to improve the driving experience?
So I think first and foremost is the conversation about what voids warranties and what components and aftermarket mods. I think if you're worried about that, I want to say any aftermarket mod is going to void a
All
warranty.
modifications can void your
You put an intake on it, it's a powertrain modification. You put a intercooler on it, that's another powertrain modification in the intake system.
suspension.
It depends. It's going to
Modification.
it's going to come down to your dealer, your experiences, what you're going to need. But if you want something that's 100% no questions a warrantyable item, you can't touch it. So, tunes are really no different. In that car in particular, we do a lot of work so that the tune is as undetectable as possible, especially after the fact. If you go back to stock, all of your flash counters are the same. We don't put any weird, fingerprints or anything else that kind of reside in the ECU afterwards. So it's, as undetectable as we can make it for a number of reasons. But that's just one of the reasons that one of the side benefits is it should be fairly invisible, or should be invisible once you flash back to stock. It is stock.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not aware of how many people actually lose their warranty on these cars from going stage one. It's a pretty small number. You can always flash back to stock.
Super small.
And like Nate said, it's really not detectable. The other thing is the dealers legally do owe you a warranty. Audi of America legally owes you a warranty. The onus is on them to prove that any modification caused the failure, and usually what we see is like, oh, you did that. It's kind of a way for them to get out of it, but that's not actually a real defense for them. As far as the driving experience, you can continue to focus on chassis and handling modifications. We have a full catalog of products. You can upgrade to our wheels, do really nice tires, do good brakes. You can make the car, a very good handling corner carver, and it's still going to have stock powers, no slouch.
Yeah.
But there's also really no need to upgrade the for example, the cold air intake on a stock tune is not going to make any more power. The factory ECU is going to limit power to the stock torque settings.
Yes. You'll have a little more efficient power. The turbo will be a little more efficient doing that, so you'll get a little more.
Well, and with the intercooler, you'll be running cooler temps, but you're not really going to make a lot more power unless you do it too. So something to consider. If you want to chat more, let us know. Hey guys, B9 S5 here. If I do the Stage 2 accel kit, is going to Stage 2 in the future an easy path, or will I be starting over with Stage 3? We have great upgrade paths. So all of our tuning is upgradable. So you just pay the difference from the price of one tune to the next. Of course, if you do Stage 3, some of the parts will have to swap out. However, if you want to start now and do our super duper inlet with the air intake, then you'll only need to buy a $20 adapter.
Yeah, and I think we'll look at making the website a little more upgrade path friendly for that, so you don't have to individually pick your parts. You can just do like we do the tunes. You're coming from a 1, you're going to a 2. It's gonna be a little dicey to get all that integrated in the Excel packages, because it's a myriad of parts that change around.
They are all individually linked in that product page. What is different in the Stage 2
Right,
Stage
yeah.
3, so they could click all the link.
Yeah, you'd have to go through one by one
the cart.
at just those parts. But yeah, I figure we could probably do it depends on the number of parts and what you're coming from. We could probably discount a little bit like we do in the current pack.
It just adds complexity to the website.
Yeah, it's tricky to get on the site.
Yeah, if you have any questions or concerns, shoot us an email and we can get you exactly the right product package to make sure that you needlessly buy anything that you won't be able to use when you go stage 3. But keep in mind you're going to want to do you're going to want to go the super duper route. That will launch you right into stage 3, and you'll essentially have no waste of anything. Like I said, you'll have an extra inlet adapter, which is a tiny little aluminum ring. I lifted my Mark 6 Golf and looking for a longer rear sway bar end lengths. Do you know the max length of adjustable end lengths? Not off the top of my head. On a Mark 6, I do believe we can lengthen that probably up to an inch over stock.
Maybe, yeah. It's
No, I don't think even an inch rear, maybe a half inch.
Just thinking of max.
the rear's got a full Heim, but it's pretty well stacked in there at stock length.
Yeah, it could be up to an inch.
You want to have
like half inch.
Yeah, just keep in mind with most threaded interfaces, you want diameter and a half into that end length to have your maximum thread strength.
But what you may be able to do with ours is if you find like a threaded coupler extender, which may exist, and so it would have half-inch threads, male thread on one side and female on the other, and it would give you like an extra inch.
Yeah.
That's also something that wouldn't be that hard to make if you had a buddy who could weld a nut onto the end of a bolt.
Yes. Thankfully, sway bar is not a driving stability necessarily. It's not gonna your wheels aren't gonna like.
No, and it's in compression and tension, so there's no real shear forces.
But yeah, that's a good idea if you really need to get. Also, you can buy extended length rod ends.
You can buy
that's not a huge articulation thing, so you can certainly get longer length rod ends.
Yeah, that's probably the best option is find an extended shaft rod length. Sounds like you need an extra inch or something like that.
Never hurts.
Yeah. Hey 034, recently I ran a 10.7 on my RS3 with your tune only. Awesome. Nice job. I wanted to ask, would a turbo inlet and full CA system from you guys maybe shave a tenth or two off my quarter mile?
Yeah, the inlet, the turbo inlet on those is certainly a restriction. Not just the tube, but the actual piece down into the turbo, the aluminum casting.
You're probably looking at another 20 to 30 horsepower with our intake and turbo.
Yeah,
at least.
I would be surprised if it was more than a tenth off.
Yeah, so it could knock a tenth or two. In reality, that's going to be more related to your launch.
Yes. Yep.
But what you will definitely see is a higher trap speed, probably anywhere from 3 to 6 miles an hour, possibly, maybe 2 to 3. But that will translate to a slightly faster ET as well.
Yep.
But if you want more power, definitely do the intake. It's
the full thing all the way to the turbo.
But if you want to hit low tens, which you can do, you're going to have to work on your launch and the grip, the tires, the surface that you're launching on.
I'll say Mark was down to like a 10.1.
10.1, 10.3.
We never went out with his car. 10.8. TT got down to 10.
TT did.
Oh, the TT was 10.1. No, Mark was better than that. He was
full weight.
He was full weight everything.
We never tried to go that fast.
I guess you're right.
But there are people. There are guys going low tens.
Oh yeah.
With our tune, and it's all about the launch. If you want, go look at the clip out last week where I talk about what it takes, what the difference is between ET and trap speed. You'll see what you need to do there. Are the Audi S4 B8 air intakes back in stock yet? So here's the deal. That's a very, very popular product for us, and we do get inventory and it ships out to back orders. So if you want an ETA on your order and when your order will ship, you need to email contact@034motorsport.com. We are working really hard to make these a long-term in-stock item. But every time we're out, we make more and the sales keep going up and up. So we're struggling to keep up with the demand. But we had a meeting about this recently and we're allocating more resources to this one product because we can't always be out of stock. And I'm sorry for anyone who's waiting. But contact at 034, they'll be able to tell you what the ETA is. But everyone who's receiving an intake has bought it when it was out of stock, and they're getting it in a kind of a first come, first serve fashion. What are your top 5 034 part recommendations for a 2012 VW Golf R to enhance the overall performance functionality of these vehicles? So this is a very popular topic this week.
2012 Golf R.
Maybe an insight as to like what it is that people are looking for from us. As we've discussed, ECU tuning are for a Golf R specifically, our front and rear swaybar package. All of our inserts for that vehicle, our dog bone pendulum mount upgrade. 034 wheels do a lot for that car to get more tire into there. On those cars, if you're doing racing with the car, they respond really well to stage 2. Intakes are good performers on there once you're tuned.
Yes.
And intercoolers.
Those are
intercooler is key. You need a good intercooler. We have an in-house Golf R. Now that's a Mark 7.
Yeah, this is Mark 6.
But I mean, when you throw our product catalog at one of these cars, it's transformative to the car. It's really fun. So, no question here, but wanted to say the TT810 Super Duper 034 downpipe and full carbon intake makes the most intoxicating sounds ever. Insane combo, well done. Oh, glad to hear.
And that thank you, because we work a lot on the whole full package.
Yeah.
And that's why we're doing more and more these kits and acceleration packages. It's all designed to work together really well.
Yeah. Javad, Nate, did you ever do a burnout in front of the New Dimensions show in 1998, 1999? That would, if it was either of us, it would have been me. And I actually used to work at New Dimensions, and I helped run that show around that time. I would have been working at New Dimensions. I'm trying to remember what specifically.
And it would have probably been peg legging in like a Coupe GT or something at that point, right?
No, that was the 80TQ era.
99?
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I didn't move out here till 2005, so there wasn't me.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we had a lot of supercharged Corrados and VR6 things, and those did fucking amazing burnouts. This was the VR6 with the Z Engineering supercharger, which later became VF Engineering. Yeah, good times. Long time ago. That was back when like a car with 250 horsepower was a lot of power.
Buddy of mine had one of those 12 valve VR6.
Yeah.
Burnouts for days.
Yeah, that was way before the 24 valve. Rolling anti-lag update for B9, B9.5 RS5.
Working on it.
Yeah. Also being worked on every day, getting closer to releasing.
Yep.
Another question about B8 S4 intakes. I think my response applies. Another question about mobile flashing.
Yeah, when will Bluetooth be available? Bluetooth is very available, but for flashing, we will have it.
Yes. You can get Bluetooth on Amazon.
All kinds of Bluetooth.
I have a 2011 S5 V8. What is the best way to get the most power out of it? Sell it and get a B8.
Yeah, there's not a lot of substantial power adders for that motor, unfortunately.
I mean, there is stuff out there. The biggest issue with those cars is they're just a huge liability. The timing chain is a ticking time bomb, and then once that happens, you're looking at possibly a new motor,
or just it's a massive service investment. Yeah,
at least $5 to $10,000 of labor just to fix it. So I would say that's not a good car for modifying. It's kind of a bad era for Audis in general.
They sound great.
They're cool. I mean, they're cool cars, but they're not very tunable. There's not that much power to be had. Even with superchargers and stuff, they're still way slower than the B8 S4. And the reliability is there. So I would suggest either leave it stock or sell it while you can because when that motor breaks, you're going to be way upside down. Do you have any opinion on the FI Interchillers? Do you feel it's worth it? Which one is this?
We have never run or tested any of
This
this.
is the air conditioning.
Yep.
And this is a product for what car?
It now exists for RS5 as well,
For B9 RS5.
but it's also very popular in B8, B8.5 S4. So
I don't say very popular, but some people are running it.
And how does it work exactly again? This has come up before.
Yeah, obviously we don't use them here. It's outside of our scope of.
It uses
Product.
the AC compressor to.
Uses the AC circuit. Basically runs the condenser through the intercooler path.
So it's an add-on hardware product.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying to bring up an
a
image for
picture of
it.
it.
But yeah, it basically replums. Let's see if I can find anything here that's not. Wow, this is.
Is there a picture of it?
Trying to find.
it's basically adding an intercooler using your AC refrigerant.
Yeah. So it's a real short amount
So you
of
have to
application you can apply.
Discharge your AC system.
Yeah.
And run it.
Yeah, you got to plumb this in.
It taps inline, so you still AC, but
So is the idea that it runs off load to bring temps back down, or does it run under load as well?
most modern air conditioners turn off the compressor. after.
Yes.
So people think that this works while on full load, but
Yeah, that's one thing that's a good point to keep in mind is almost all performance models and performance tunes and performance applications do disable the intercooler the air conditioning clutches.
Well, but the problem is
That wide open
the
throttle.
AC compressor is no free lunch, right? So that's gonna tap you some amount of power as well, and it's not a little. It's like 5-10 horsepower
I'd say more than that.
at least. I'm being generous. So then the question is, well, what does the interchiller give you, and how much power does it cost you? Because this is like, again, there's no free lunch, and this isn't a free lunch. If it was, everybody would be doing it. Yeah,
I'd have to look at the more of the install for the RS5 specifically.
if you had an AC compressor connected and the clutch was closed and there was like a crank handle on it, you would not be able to turn it, with unless you were maybe like a power lifter or something. So it's a very, very has a device with a lot of parasitic loss to spin the compressor and compress that refrigerant to get it to cool down like that. So the only way I could see it being used is it could bring down temps between runs.
yeah. So this guy's been his highway intake temperature low 60s when it's 85 out with his interchiller installed. So between runs,
Between runs, it can bring it down. And then the question is, well, how bad?
I mean, so I could see it converting your air to water system to sub-ambient temperatures for your water reservoir.
But that's going to take a lot of. It's going to use gas.
Oh yeah, and there's no, like you said, there's no free lunch. You're gonna use energy to do it.
implements something like this on higher cats and Dodge demons. So there is an LEM
It's-
of this, but they're probably calibrated.
Yeah, to come back for it it's not something we run here. We stay within the realm of the original equipment, systems.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I don't see us releasing our own version of it ever. So, all right, let's keep going. I know this is a long shot, but would you guys, by any chance, make performance mods for the undesirable 3-liter engines from the B6?
you kind of explained the answer in your question.
Yeah. There's only one company doing it, and it's JH Motorsports. So if you want to go check them out, and same with the B6, B7, B8.
Yeah, B8 motor.
They're the only company on the market doing anything with those motors. I don't think they do a lot of business with those because the amount of power and performance you can get out of either of those motors is very small.
Yeah, and used cars kind of normalize quite a bit price wise. So I don't think it's like a huge offset for a car with a 3-liter motor, NA motor versus a supercharged V6 motor.
Yeah,
especially when you start figuring mods to get it to, you're never going to get it up to the same power level. But yeah.
Let me get one of them Mark 8 downpipes so I can run some 0 through 4 stage 2 smiley face.
All right.
Cool. Well, we will be releasing it soon. Hang in there. Will you guys be releasing a CARB legal tune for the B9 SQ5? Yes, we are working with CARB to get exemptions for the B9 tuning. Just keep in mind, if you're on stage 1, your car is running as clean as.
Yeah, I mean the processes we've gone through before. It's literally been our stage 1 file account. Here, go test it, and it's come back, as a pass. So
Yeah.
There's likely a non-zero chance that the file you're running is going to be the same as our car file.
I am getting I'm getting to a very high mileage on my car, almost 100K. How long do you think my transmission? How long until you think my transmission gives out? I feel like my engine will be okay, but I'm really concerned about trans.
You need to give us some more information.
Yeah,
Are you a manual transmission? Mark IV Jetta? Are you?
You guys should ask.
Yeah.
They do apply.
Yeah, we can't answer. That's like
We can't answer. Even if we knew, there's no way to predict when a transmission is going to go out. If that was a business, then I probably wouldn't be doing it.
yes. And this kind of brings back to, we brought this topic up before. If anyone tells you any information based on that kind of a question,
Yeah,
don't listen to them. Use that kind of a question to weed out people that are just going to BS an answer to you and try and sound like they know what they're talking about. You need to have a lot more information, a lot more background to say anything to a question like that.
The only right answer to that question is I don't know, and that's actually the best answer. Give us B8, B8.5, guys, a little something new.
Oh,
that's coming.
Bump sticks.
Yeah. We have our new cams
What is that?
coming on the way.
Don't-
So we will be doing a pre-buy soon for those, so stay tuned.
We're into the second page of questions here, and we got about 18 minutes left.
Yep.
Yeah. Any updates for the B8 2.0s, or is the platform dead?
Nothing currently. It's
Not dead.
It's a great car.
It's a great car.
We've got a lot of other irons in the fire at the same time here, so it's
Just,
high priority.
just because we don't develop anything new doesn't mean it's dead. I mean, we have a catalog of products, so but it's not as attractive as some of the other stuff that we're working on. There's a lot of update questions. Have you guys tested out the slant ground non-projected NGK plugs for the B9? I know it won't help injector issues, but I'm hoping it stops the grounds from melting, breaking, and
That is actually that is a plug we are in the middle of testing, a similar style. We have a couple of options coming actually as well, which are a very different style with, basically they're strapless.
Yeah.
So we're working on some options there. Again, no testing's been concluded yet.
I just want to clarify, there is no spark plug that won't melt if that cylinder runs lean because of a bad injector.
Yeah, if you've got a failed injector, you're not going to be in a good place.
So, if you have an injector that is either injecting too much fuel or not enough, especially if it's not enough, EGTs will skyrocket. And honestly, the spark plug melting is probably the best thing that can happen in this scenario. Because if
it is,
I don't know, a lot of these guys, I don't know if they know what they're asking. It's like, well, you want a super duper, titanium spark plug that doesn't melt. Well, then what's the next thing that's going to melt then? A valve, the top of your piston, a ringland. So even Brisk, as one of their features, lists that their electrode is melts easier than Iridium, just because it's
it should be outside of the thermal range where you're getting a proper combustion.
So melting plugs isn't great. It means that that cylinder is now dead as far as creating combustion, but it does mean that you avoided a bigger catastrophic issue. And it just means that you need to fix your injector issue.
Yeah,
and
hopefully
get back on the road.
Depending on how severe it gets.
Yeah.
And injector. I know it's a common topic right now, but injector diagnosis.
And there's another question here. I've seen a lot of B9 RS5 S cars having issues with plugs. They're having to be replaced as early as 5,000 to 8,000 miles. From what I hear, it's an issue with the cars running lean. Have you guys looked into this to see if tunes are creating these failures? So of course, I mean, we tune and create these calibrations. Yep. The file is not running. We know that we don't sell lean running files. In almost every case that we've seen this come up, it's related to a failed injector of some kind of issue. And then the spark plug is a symptom of.
Yeah, we've seen one RS5 that had an issue with plug with plug straps being damaged, and that was 100% an injector replacement, and everything was clean and perfect after that.
So keep in mind, this is happening on all different tunes that we're seeing online. And last week, a dealership tech wrote in saying he's seeing it on bone stock cars weekly. And then we also have a lot of dealership contacts as well. And there does appear to be some type of injector issue with Audi FSIs in general. Now, it's not a new issue. This has been happening on B8s. This has been happening going back to Mark 5, Mark 6, Mark 7 cars do have, occasional injector failing issues. We've seen this here at 034 Motorsport with our own cars, with our company development cars. We have had injectors fail and need to be replaced. Thankfully, in every case, the worst thing that happens is a misfire or a melted spark plug, and then you replace.
We've actually never melted a plug.
We haven't.
We had a couple of misfire events. We had an injector stuck open on a car,
but we've had it happen in certain. The other thing is we have two service department locations where we actually modify cars. So we have a lot of data points here at 034. One of our competitors has one B9 S4, and they don't do service. So that's not a lot of data.
We're fortunate we get a large sample set directly hands-on.
In the last 3 months, we've maybe interacted with 30 to 40 cars, and we have good familiarity with that.
One thing to keep in mind, though, that was part of that question too, is service intervals. 8,000 miles on plugs and a 700 horsepower,
That's not
3-liter motor.
Yeah,
that's going to be pretty much expected to be beyond a normal service life on
I
I'd say every oil change on anything over stage 2 and up, I do some plugs with it. These are massive amounts of power per hole.
And this is exactly why Audi doesn't sell a 750 horsepower stock V6 vehicle,
3-liter motor.
Yeah, and really nobody else does either. You even see 4-cylinder motors really pushing the horsepower limits up to like 450 horsepower on like a 2 to 2.2 liter 4-cylinder. The reason the factories, you'll see a twin turbo V8 that makes less power than what you guys are making on your V6s. To get to that kind of power, you're talking, in some cases, twin turbo V12s, things like that, where the factory's adding numbers of cylinders and displacements to bring the specific output from each cylinder down.
So I just did a quick search. I haven't thought about this for a while, but the most power dense engines out there. So you're talking like number of horsepower per liter. Looks like right now, from what I can find, is a Ferrari 296 GTB.
Which is 218 horsepower per liter.
Which would equal 650 crank on.
And what's the plug interval on that car?
Yeah, exactly. And I have no idea what that relates to in service intervals, but
it's probably not 100,000 miles. Yeah. So I think changing your plugs 5,000, 8,000 miles on a GTE 810 car is pretty much expected. And then, then there's the injector issue, which, again, there is no spark plug that can deal with a failed injector. Not that you need it to either. So, I know this is a hot topic online with lots of people chiming in.
All the Ferraris maintenances are in years owned because nobody drives them.
I can't find. Well, yeah, that's the other thing.
If someone drives those things 10,000 miles.
Nobody's driving.
But it's a 7-year maintenance plan or interval.
There's a lot of let's make one statement for anyone who's following this: is there are some random conspiracy theories being conjured up. There's people making assertions like they're fact, and they're not. So I think,
and somebody's saying too, also to follow up on that, the last couple of failures have been with basically brand new plugs and injectors. Yeah, but we don't know the rest of this operating conditions around it.
Well, a brand new spark plug will melt just as the same as a old spark plug if the cylinder runs lean.
Or if there's some mitigating reason why this is happening.
There are brand new injectors that seem to be failing right out of the box. I would say it's still not a common occurrence, and I think there's a very few vocal people that are talking really loudly about it. At 034, we're not going to jump on the latest conspiracy theory or bandwagon assertion or whatever that anyone comes up with. So we have been working on this. We will continue to. We're probably not going to get into the injector market.
It's going to be a while before we have if there ever is a 100% concrete answer to the cause for every one of these. And there's so many variables out there, and running conditions and component health outside of even the injectors and coils or plugs themselves. That's going to be a really tough one to pinpoint. And again, this is such a high output per liter. You've got to have things.
Yeah, we're talking 250 horsepower per liter. So that's approaching the highest output, Ferrari motor, normally aspirated Ferrari motor, which is insane, by the way.
296 is turbocharged.
Oh, it is turbocharged. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that makes more sense. Usually 100 horsepower per liter on NA motors.
Oh, those are 218 per liter. So we're over.
Oh, that was 218.
Yes.
Oh, so
yeah,
we're way over that.
Yeah, way.
So you're
I'm trying to see how if there's anything more recent.
Sorry.
But yeah.
Basically, if you have a TT-A10, you're running E85, you have one of the highest specific output motors in the world. Like higher than race cars, things like that. What's an F1 motor? Those are like 800 horsepower and 1.3. That's really high.
Yeah, that's
it's coming. That's 6, and it's going down to
they're dropping output.
Yeah,
from that.
Yeah, they're fuel flow limited now.
Yeah. So I think there's some resetting of expectations, and a lot of the same people who are complaining about plugs are asking about full frame 1,000 horsepower setups. Listen, 1,000 horsepower daily driver, you're going to be changing out plugs even faster and more often. And I think this is the thing. Like you see these like GTRs out there with 1,500, 2,000 horsepower.
So there's a Koenigsegg with 300 horsepower.
But it has some magical power adder device, I'm sure, or like adjustable compression.
So the 5-liter motor making 1,600 horsepower on E85.
Yeah, 5 liters.
But so it's per liter, but it's still. I'm going to assume that has a rather short service interval at that output.
Yes, especially with the 85. So, I don't think there's any reason for anyone to freak out. Change your spark plugs. Thankfully, spark plugs are cheap and easy to change. Even injectors, it's a pain in the butt. They're not that expensive, and thankfully on these B9s, they're easy to change. On a 4.0 T, they're much more work.
I think a big thing that's come up for this is people feeling like stage 3 isn't safe for these cars anymore. So
I can see a lot of noise out there,
but it is safe.
Number wise, there's a lot of cars out there on this right now, and very few relative issues still.
And the number of like actually blown motors is very small, and I guess you have to qualify what safe means. If you're looking for something that's safe to the degree that you're never going to have a plug failure and it's never going to leave you stranded, then I'd say stick to stage 1.
Mm-hmm.
And even then you're still going to have plug failures, but you're still going to have injector failures, which are causing the plug failures. Even on stage 3, it's not technically a plug failure in most cases that we're seeing. Now, if you're talking about blowing a motor, honestly, to make 800 horsepower and not blow your motor and have to change your plugs, I come from an era where we would do 3 dyno pulls and have to change the plugs on an 800 horsepower 5-cylinder, which was like breathing fire. That was like a race car. You could not daily drive it. It wasn't streetable. It was lifting the head gasket constantly. Everything on it was breaking at that power. So I think, the expectations are not necessarily, in line with the reality.
And we talk about that a bunch too. Is like setting just the expectations of what it takes to own a 700 horsepower.
Yeah, and there's a lot of 700-800 horsepower BMWs out there that are dealing with the same type of issues. They don't have the same injectors as the Audis, so if their injectors are more reliable and have more capacity in the fuel system, then that's going to certainly alleviate this stuff. But when you get to this specific level of output, you are going to be consuming plugs, foils, and things like that much more often, just simply because of the demand that's on those components.
Yeah, and the B9s are getting up in the mileage and years on some models now too. So it's going to be one of those, like, it's just a maintenance interval thing too. Peace of mind is replacing injectors at, I don't know, 50K probably.
Stage 3 at 90,000 miles.
Yeah,
The thing runs.
Nick's got 90,000 on his car.
We have stage 3 car here in house with 90,000 miles that runs
7
very reliably. That's daily treatment.
And towed.
I think that there's another issue with, and this is a big problem we have today in our society and culture with the internet, is people just kind of going crazy with anecdotal evidence. So one or two guys have a problem, and now all of a sudden it's every single car. Of course, the people that aren't having problems are out driving, and they're not in the thread, they're not on there. But the 9 guys that have had the problem are all kind of hyping things up. We saw this with the cam lifter rocker arm failures supposedly, which are now.
I mean, they still pop up here and there, but it's such a small amount.
Well, now everyone's talking about
however many cars are out there.
I just think we have to be careful of making these kind of big, sweeping, generalized facts based that aren't based on real information.
Yeah, they have so little information around them, and it's all just either guessing or very limited amount of data.
Someone says, are the failures happening more on ethanol or pump gas? From what we're seeing anecdotally, it doesn't matter. It's not related to. It's not like ethanol is making the injectors faster. There's something going on. Excuse me, with some injectors.
Yeah,
but it's not as widespread as some people are making it sound. Let's see. God, we didn't get through all the questions.
No, I don't think we have. In 3 minutes, we're still. I'm sorry, guys. We're still a page plus deep.
Let's see. Anything we should jump on?
You want to talk about this stuff at all?
Oh,
a couple of shinies here.
We do have these. These are our new B8 and Golf R turbo inlets. Sorry, Mark 8.
Nice.
This is the Golf R S3 inlet for the bigger turbo. Has a 2-piece adapter. So eventually, if you buy this now, we will release other adapters for various turbo options that come out on the market for stage 3 type stuff. And then this is the GTI version, which also has the removable insert. We kind of struggled with these because the factory pieces flow very well, and you basically won't see anything on the market that flows better than the factory plastic pieces. They're really optimized.
I mean, for the given constraints, that if you want to make something that drops in and fits.
Yeah, we basically pulled out all the stops to make these flow at or slightly better than the stock ones. It's not like the Mark 7 inlets where those had 20-30% flow improvement. But the advantage of these is the replaceable insert. So if you want to get into one of these now, you can buy the insert later on at a reduced cost that will allow you to go stage 3. They're beautiful, finely crafted pieces. They are more durable than the factory ones. This is a lifetime product. It will never fail or wear out. We will be selling these on their own. We will also be including them with full intake kits, which will go from the intake to the turbo and everything in between. So it would come with the inlet, our silicone connector hose, and the air box as well. So these are now live on our website if you're interested. I think you'll just want to sleep with it in your bed for a while because they're so pretty. All right.
I'm adding quick answers.
Yeah, feel free to answer them in text.
Yeah, you can also we're basically out of time now. Let me see if there's anything quick we can hit here.
You have to build a motor for stage 3.
Dig the new L3 Force Wag. Any chance you release a B9 S5 Sportback Tee? I don't know that we've got that on the line art.
We do not.
List.
Should you wait for S34 or can you buy P34 right now if we want to go 810?
P34 and S34 are the same performance between them.
Yeah.
There's only difference on the 810.
On 810.
So yeah, there's going to be no impact between the two.
Should someone wait for the 34 PCV kit for B9 or buy the racing kit today?
I don't
Okay,
know that
let me just address this one real quick. Like, we are connected to the racing line. We're never going to tell you to buy one of their products over ours. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to sell 0 through 4 motors. I don't know a lot about the racing line PCV kit. People ask us about it like it's our own product. Feel free to talk to Racing Line and ask them questions about their product and see what they have to say. All I can say is the 034 kit will be the best performing, most substantive solution on the market that will hold any boost pressure you can throw at it. That will definitively solve the problem that these Audis have with the PCV kits. I recommend waiting for ours. Again, we're here to sell 034 Motorsport. We love Racing Line. We support them.
Yeah.
And it's also, we're not here to, pitch their products over ours. And we don't really even know.
That was what I was just going to say. Is like, it's not even that. It's like, we're deep into our own development here.
Yeah.
We don't have the time, the capacity to then absorb all of their engineering data.
We didn't
for our own talking points,
Yeah.
For you guys here.
We didn't collaborate with them on that product. We don't know anything about the design or engineering.
Yeah. And particularly, Javad and I, because we're on our products. The engineers, they do talk more.
But no one in our engineering department knows either. We did not.
That particular thing for sure.
We had no involvement with that.
We did not collaborate.
I just want to state really clearly, it's not our product. We really don't know anything about it, and we're really not going to go learn a lot about it either. We're focused on bringing our solution to the market, and that's what we're going to offer.
Yep.
I know of a lot of people who bought that one, and I hope it's what they want. I hope it's working great for them.
Yep.
But I definitely recommend waiting for ours. It will be the best solution around. Okay. I think we're out of time.
Sorry, we certainly didn't get to everything today, guys.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's going to
getting to everything is a thing, but actually it's not too bad, unless Nick just deleted it.
50 questions left. Yeah.
Yeah, no. We'll do our best. I think the lesson is if you want to get your question answered, get in the first 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because if you ask in the last half, it
gets hard.
It's probably not going to happen.
Or if you have follow-up questions that weren't answered, email contact.
Oh yeah, you can always email us.
We'll get them in for the next week.
Do you want to talk about that metric, by the way, we were talking about next week for support?
No, I need more information.
Yeah, okay.
All right, thanks everyone. Cheers. We'll see you next week.
Take care.
Actually, I'll be in Europe next week.
You will be.
Dating collections.